Welcome back, everybody, to the GG.bet Ice Challenge here in London. 2020, it's been a hell of a year already, and we are just barely dipping our toes into February. For the time being, though, we need to talk a little bit about some of the events that have transpired up to this point. My name being Trace, this is going to be Jacob, and alongside of him is going to be Halvor, and we're going to run you through this entire thing. First and foremost, guys, we're talking about the map pick here of OG. Mad Lions, Hunden, what?
Yeah, you gotta have a lot of confidence if you want to play Nuke against a Danish squad. I feel it's going toe to toe against Mad Lions on a map like Nuke. You kind of feel that OG is kind of like a one-trick pony as of right now in terms of the map pool. Not really that deep, not really that much structure within it. Going against Mad Lions on a map like Nuke is never a good idea. I think we got to showcase right here why that is.
Yeah, it very much feels like again OG are very much still in the development stages of where they are as a team, and obviously if you look at what they've played, obviously they haven't been together all that long. They've only played one official game on that map before getting to this point, right? And as you kind of alluded to, yeah, they're going up against a Grizzled team that is actually fairly comfortable of playing Nuke. That's just the case with any sort of Danish team. Any Danish players have kind of been fed, grass-fed on Nuke as they've come up through the ranks. So I'm really surprised by it. I think they showed decent tendencies throughout their CT side. Again, they had a pretty significant lead, but it's the fact that it can slip away so easily, especially if you lose grip of your economy towards the tail end of it, as we saw. Mad Lions doesn't really need that many rounds to make sure that they can feel comfortable going over to the CT side.
Yeah, which is it's kind of going to be the story of this Nuke game, right? I mean, this is a game that for a minute you might have said, OG, yeah, they're certainly in this when they've got it by the horns. What was really the downfall there, Jacob? If I look at this game from an outside perspective, I'm like, wow, this was really close. But that's just not how it ended up.
No, obviously the T side of OG wasn't really good at all. They couldn't find any impact. They couldn't find any rounds. And basically the strong defense of Mad Lions was too much for them to handle. If you look towards some of the players as well, Valde didn't really find any impact as well. A guy that we know can be potentially the best player on the server, one of the most stable players on the server. He struggled throughout this series. Issa as well, maybe the most explosive player on the entire server, didn't really find his footing anyway. And that's two of the key parts of this OG lineup that didn't work out for them, especially on the especially on the T side. When you want to break through a strong defense, you got to have some of those explosive plays coming out. Issa didn't do it, Valde didn't do it, and simply that was too much for OG to handle.
Just speaking on numbers is a testament to what you're saying there. We're looking at the two of them. We're seeing 27 frags between the two players right there, and that is not going to be what pushes OG over the finish line.
Yeah, the funny thing is, like, when you look at the makeup of the team, right, you have, I guess, the ones who are meant to control the players in terms of MBK and LXCB. They're not meant to be the one leading the majority of the fragging. That's really what comes through in this one. Monty had a great start to the CT side, but he started waning as the game went along as well. And to be fair, it's hard being an opera playing T side, trying to open things up for yourself. So yeah, no, it's pretty evident that the two main star riflers really on this squad kind of have to be alive if they want to have a shot at it, because they start off way too many rounds on their T side, just being one man down, not really necessarily having a backup plan or contingency plan for what they're meant to do at that stage. And that's what Mad Lions have just locked and loaded. They know that they can do it in any given situation, because that's just kind of how Hunden teams work.
So with Hunden in mind, I'm kidding. What we are going to talk a little bit about, though, and we're going to kind of bring it back down a little bit. I mean, normally we're going to be talking in depth. We're going to be giving all sort of statistics in a way that I guess the viewer at home can understand, but us being here at the Ice Expo, us being here at the Excel in London, there's a lot of people watching here. There's a lot of people watching just outside of the confines that we're in right now that may not understand what sort of pivotal moment we're in a best of three. How important is it for OG to turn this one around right now?
It's super important, right? Because there was their own map pick coming in towards Nuke. You get to pick a map each in a veto process, and this one was OG's map pick, so they lost on their own, let's say, home turf in that sense against Mad Lions. So now we move into their territory. We're going to play Train the next map, which is the pick of Mad Lions, a map they play very, very well. So OG, they'll have to step it up a notch, and we'll have to see more from them. Whereas for Mad Lions, I saw throughout the map of Nuke as well, we did see their star player not really showing up either. Bobsky is by far the best performing player in terms of the rifle skills. He didn't have a great game as per se. He was just somewhat decent. Still, Mad Lions were able to take it. So coming into the second map, if you're looking towards this game and thinking, is there a chance that OG can get back into it? Is there a chance they can turn around this series? Well, you'll have to think about it as well, that Mad Lions right now is maybe playing at 70-80% on the home turf of OG, and they still were able to win it. So the odds are not looking that great for OG.
Yeah, to kind of put it into context that everybody can understand, regardless if you've played Counter-Strike or watched it or completely new to it, for the map we're going into, which is going to be Train, Mad Lions have played that 10 times in the last 3 months. They've won 9 out of them. So 90% win rate, that's good regardless of what sport you might be doing. So,
but there is a little bit of a caveat right there, right? I mean, you have to sit there and say that the sample size of information you could have against the Mad Lions is certainly something that's going to be plenty of research. There's going to be plenty of material out there for a team like OG to go in and say, hey, you know what? Well, we know they do this. We know what tendencies they have. Can that bite them in the butt?
I mean, it's also, it's always a good thing for you to have obviously like a plethora of information that you can work against your opponents. The problem is that that's obviously been a case for a while now for Mad Lions, and they've still shown themselves to be good enough at adapting to whatever sort of issues they have during, I guess, the initial stages of the game, right? Whether it being on the CT side or the T side. So they're just well-versed. They're a well-drilled team. So even if OG come up with some anti-stratting or basically just some concept of ideas that they want to throw at them that they think could be beneficial, I wouldn't be surprised if you see Mad Lions actually coping with that pretty well.
I would definitely echo that sentiment. Looking at this game right now, I think it was a bit surprising to me that OG picked the map on Nuke coming into the first one. It was a bit surprising to see them get off to such a good start, but ever since I saw that video transpire, ever since I saw the map pool that these two teams are going to face against each other, I was thinking to myself, as you alert to as well, Mad Lions is such a well-structured team. They know how to approach a map. They know how to deal with people being aggressive. They are a team that has been together for a long, long time now, whereas for OG, it's still a bit up in the mix right now. We know they can be really good, but we don't really know how good they can be.
And the interesting part there for OG, at least we saw probably a few examples there in that last map, is the fact that when they find themselves down, say, a player, 2 players earlier on the round, for them to mount a comeback just in that round alone, it seems almost improbable. It seems like they really don't know how to get back on their feet after they, say, lose that first pick, which is what happened there on Nuke. We're talking about opening picks 16-12 in the way of Mad Lions. That's going to be kind of indicative if you sit there and say, well, yeah, they can't turn rounds back around.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to get all that much harder when you go up against well-structured teams because they're not going to get over-eager. They're not going to give you that 1 inch to potentially grab a mile. And I think that's what OG kind of rely on is the opponents making mistakes that's going to allow them to get back into the round if they slip up at the start of it and, as you said, go a man down. And I think that's also one of the issues with playing both Train and Nuke. And to start off the series, it's 2 very technical maps for teams to kind of get their grasp around. And yeah, you don't really have as much wiggle room to just have individuals shine and just turn things on its head in your favor as much as you would on potentially a map like Dust 2, for instance.
Now, Jacob, what about a player like Sush? When we look at this guy, he's all over the place. And first of all, am I even saying his name right?
I think you are. I even don't know it myself, Shush, I think, is the right. Shush.
I just think like sushi, Sush. Shush.
Close enough.
Good
close enough.
I do like sushi, so this does make sense, and this is a lot easier to remember. Now, just talking about him as a player, though, he had certainly an impact there on Nuke. Is that sort of going to be the bane of existence here for OG? Is this guy a one-man answer?
No, he's not a one-man answer, and I think that's what's so great about this Mad Lions team, that they have a lot of different strings to play off. They have a guy like Shush who can be a star player. They have Bobsky, who didn't have a great game, who is the normal star rifler within the lineup. Akor, the AWP player as well.
Really good.
It's been really, really good. There's so many strings to play off within the Mad Lions camp. It's such a well-structured and well-rounded team, dare I say. Whereas if you look towards OG, you look towards some of the win conditions for them coming into a map like Train, we got to look towards Mantu, the AWP player for their lineup. Without him playing well, without him being assertive on the map and creating chaos and basically taking away map control from the Mad Lions and putting a steer into whatever they want to do on the map, then there's no way OG is going to win. So no, Shush is not the one-man answer for Mad Lions, but it could be the case of OG that has Mantu on the AWP. Without him playing well, I don't see this one panning well for OG.
Yeah, and if you're OG, you desperately needed to pick up that first map when, again, this is the quarterfinals here. In a best of 3, you wanted to get that opening map win. Now we turn the page and look at what is going to be the pick of the other side of Mad Lions. You got to think, okay, well, first of all, they went through that maybe. And if OG can pull through that, can they pull through Overpass, which is the decider?
I mean, at least they've had some tournament practice on Overpass as well. They played versus ENS to just kick off their tournament.
Is that practice?
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Okay, shots fired.
Just joking. Everybody calm down. Just gags, everybody.
You got some mad Finns back at the hotel when we get back.
I do like Finland, and I also like the Finns. And moreover, I like ENS. Got the jersey to prove it. So
there we go. Nicely saved. But yeah, no, obviously that's going to be a nice little thing for them, I guess, if nothing else. But I think right now you can't really think too far ahead. You just have to focus on, you're going up an uphill battle playing Train versus Mad Lions, and that's really just as far as you can take your thoughts. You can't really focus on the fact that, well, maybe we get to see a third map. That's not really how it's going to work out for them. And even if they make it to an overpass, it's still going to be pretty tough versus Hunden squad.
Hunden squad. Now, Hunden is a legendary, is an iconic name. But why, Jacob? Why is Hunden the name that just keeps ringing? It's all over the forums. HLTV.org users are just, they will not shut up about Hunden. And why is that?
It's kind of funny, right? Because he used to be, let's put this in a respectful manner, he used to be quite an average player, maybe below average in terms of how he performs individually.
He's said it, not me.
No, he's always been around within the Danish scene. What he has going for him, though, is the fact that he fosters talent. He's been doing that over and over again in Danish Counter-Strike. The past 5 years, he's had some of the best players playing under him. Glaive is a great example. Back in Counter-Strike Source, when his career began, Hunden was the guy who basically taught him how to play Counter-Strike, taught him how to in-game lead, and all that kind of stuff. There's been plenty of examples of that. Now, the big thing with Hunden now, the past, let's say 6-7 months, he's actually gotten himself to a level where he's competing with some of the best teams in the world. That has never been the case before. He was always a guy who played the tier 3 events, tier 4 events maybe, and did fine with some of the Danish youngsters. Now he brought this team to be I wouldn't say a tier 1 team, but up there, they're contesting for it.
Well, yeah.
They're getting good at it, so we'll have to see how good that's going to be.
We are looking at a player and a team that really does, I guess, transcend a little bit further.
Sure.
And I would love to see where the story of Hunden goes. However, for the time being, we're going to be going to a break, which does mean that when we come back, we're going to have the second map of this series. So make sure you go nowhere. We'll be right back here in London for the GG.bet Ice Challenge.
We get ready to go for map number 2. The first one went the way of Mad Lions, even though it was not their choice, but we did say team tactics often outweigh individual skill, and I think that was a prime example of it.
Absolutely. They look like a good unit. They look like they were well coordinated, and still coming back from a deficit as well. It's not like they got a fantastic start and ran away with that. They were down 4-1, and indeed, their opponent's map pick. Moving on to Train, another tactical map. T-sides haven't been good for OG. 2-0, looking pretty likely here.
Yeah, I think it's entirely possible. And you're right, T-sides are probably, as a brand new team, the hardest to learn. Usually as a new player, I think CTs are harder to learn because you can fit into an execution. It's harder to get the chemistry with your teammates on a CT side. But as a unit, it's harder to come up with an actual game plan to execute top to bottom, design all the smokes, who's going to throw what, who's going to enter where. And that's going to take again, we use the word time, but it's going to take time for them to come up with that, and it's just not there yet. Unfortunately, not there yet.
And this is a big AWP-centric map. We saw Man2 with a big performance in the previous map. Didn't lead to a victory, but it's nice to see him firing off. Got 20-plus kills. Moving on to Train, he will have to deliver once again. Up against Acor, who's looked brilliant throughout the entire tournament, hasn't really had any slow games whatsoever. He's going to be massively influential. Double AWP setups are going to be available here as well. I'm interested to see what kind of game plan OG bring out. Their CT side has to be rock solid, though. They need to be posting like 11, 12 rounds, I would say, depending on whether they start CT or not. But if they can, I feel like that'll be enough. But if they don't get double digits on the CT side, I think they might be in a lot of trouble.
Well, we'll see if that can be amended or not. Again, a knife for sides, so there's no, or at least we have no idea who's going to start where for OG. Obviously, that's a pretty important knife round, I would suspect. You want to get over to the CT side early. You're peeking over the screens to see where we are.
I want to see what's going on, yeah. So they don't appear to have done the knife just yet, but they will be doing so momentarily. And yeah, this is going to be a very important game of CS here for OG. Not only, sure, it's quarterfinals elimination time, but it's the first time we've really seen them in the playoffs. We want to see what they can do. A map down as well. Need to deliver on all fronts here. Haven't seen too much from him, another big name within the squad. Want to see him deliver if possible. Can be a very capable and amazing talent at times, but the whole team needs to come online together at once. And that's what Mad Lions have been so good at. Like, no one's really going above and beyond and shining so bright that the others look average in comparison. It's a whole team. It's good coordination and managing to squeeze out rounds when they need them the most. So Train coming in very shortly indeed. As you can see, we've got Virtus.pro taking on, who's the next? We've got Virtus.pro against, is there the other quarterfinal we have coming up?
Godsend.
Godsend, that's it.
Yeah.
It's
actually on the bottom of the screen. I know it's ages away from us.
Yes.
Yards away, but yeah, it's
Virtus.pro versus Godsend. I can't wait for that game either. I've been such a fan of Godsend.
Godsend, what the heck was that yesterday, right? I mean,
Crazy.
that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that at all. I was talking to Michael Lely outside and was like, oh, I made a few jokes like, oh, I haven't seen Devil walk in forever. I literally was walking toward Michael Lely and I was like, I recognize the guy. He had his hood up, granted.
Yep.
And he nodded at me and I was like, hey, and I was planning on being like, okay, I know him, but I don't know him. I'll just keep going. And then he was like, how you been, man? And I was like, oh, like, hey.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
And then I was talking to him. He was like, are you casting my game? I was like, no, I guess you'll have to win. And in my head, I was like, I'm probably not going to be casting you this event. Like, I was kind of writing them off. I was like, I don't
Which
see it.
is fair.
But I think just because I don't have expectations. But man, oh man, they smoked it yesterday.
Yeah.
I suppose 2 days ago now.
2 days ago, yeah.
The last playing day.
Yeah, they look great. Another team that's just been putting in the hard work, and they have to as well. That's a team, a few of those players, getting a little long in the tooth at this point. They've been absent of top-level play for a while, but they've proven that hard work and dedication has got them to a point where they actually could lift the trophy here. They look great. Imagine we get Mad Lions potentially against Godsend, considering the landscape of the tournament. That would be absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But either way, here we go. It looked like the ninth round has been completed. We'll have OG starting on the CT side. No, it's going to be Mad Lions swapping over. So
yeah, I think that's, you win the pistol or the knife on this one, you're going to want the CT side.
So there we go. It's going to be looking very good for Mad Lions in that department. It's not a deal breaker necessarily, but if it's your map pick, it's on the CT side as well. Those are advantages you'll take if you can get them, and we'll be starting the pistol round momentarily. You'll see most teams, especially under-prepared ones, go towards inside on the pistol, try and guarantee that plan. We'll have a look at what they've brought into the pistol. Any PD50s? Indeed, there is. It's going to be in the hands of Valda, as we'll see one smoke and a flash.
1.3 to 3 this time, so it's actually gone more in the way of Mad Lions, whether that's a result of the last map or just the fact that it's their map choice.
Better both, I suppose.
Yeah, I think so. But OG's now, I guess, officially the underdog, if you want to look at it that way.
Well, look at this setup here. I've seen this before from Mad Lions, so they wait for the inside commitment to come through. They do a load of damage. You can see 100 there with the HE out, but they're going to be focusing towards upper here. So they need to be very careful. Good flashbang has granted some access here, and at this point, OG starting to swarm the side here. But 100 looking for a couple of quick kills. Not going to happen, but shush, he's delivering. Headshots coming through, though. Bomb to be planted. 3-on-2.
MBK trying to find some space. He's made noise. He's not going silently about it, but he knew Roy was in front of him somewhere, and he wanted to get the shot. Good depth to the attack. They've got all the way back towards CT spawn, and they're aware that no one else is making noise or activity in that direction. It's got to be a flank. They look to find Acor. MBK positioned himself to do so that he could protect his teammates down below. And just by being combative and confrontational, he keeps him outside of the site to let his teammates get in position. Alexi finishes planting the bomb and goes up hunting.
Well, there we go. 3 players survive on the OG side. As we mentioned, inside is normally a very common approach on the pistol rounds. You're normally guaranteed a plant, and sometimes a bit more. They manage to get the trades required to bust through, focusing towards the upper area at that point instead of lower. Had they gone on the lower ramp, they would have been greeted by 2 HE grenades that were actually in position to be deployed towards that spot. There were actually 3 CTs towards inside as well, so that's a big comeback for OG to actually win the round. But they've got to fend off the force by now. Very difficult one to do so. On train, you'll be up against the scouts, the Deagles, and it'll be down to Bubsky to try and do some damage here with that sniper rifle. And will be the sandwich smoke deployed. Take some vision away from main entrance, and they'll be focusing towards Ivy. 3 players going in that direction with the bomb. Mansu to lead the way. They've got 5 rifles here. They know up against the force buy, so they have a lack of utility, but plenty of chances to take the kills in heads-up duels.
Hunden aggressive with the Deagle, not overly, but in a good position so to catch them off. That's a fantastic shot by Roy. Stepping out, I don't even think he fully stopped. He just caught out Issa on the first bullet. That'll slow things down. They've got to get aggressive to the front of the site to take away what they've lost, as Bubsky's going to find Valda. OG's got to be careful. NBK knows it now. He's almost alone in this situation, and he's tagged up through the edge of the train. He's going to lose some HP and his life as Hunden was battling around. Great screen. Oh, we got to that just in time. He was sitting in the smoke. That faded. They had no idea there'd be a second player at long.
Not a single kill found there for OG. Up against those Deagles and Scouts, and one by one, it all starts to fall apart there. Great stuff towards the Ivy especially, but not a single kill found, let alone no bomb plant. That really has fallen apart. And you've gone for 5 rifles there.
Did Acor, he must have rotated back from spawn, not from old train, because if he went there after Roy got the opening kill and went down, that's pretty clever with the Deagle.
So I don't think they've forced into this one, OG. They just said, right, well, we've given away a lot there. You can see the AK-47s picked up for Mad Lions. 2 of those, Bubsky and Roy, going to be rocking them with Hunden with the Galil in tow. So 1 smoke, 1 flash towards inside. I would imagine, once again, smoke connector perhaps, and flash over so you can get the bomb planted here. In terms of inside defense, it will be, oh, what the hell? But Bubsky just do that with the spam towards Pop Dog. It might have been a grenade going up, but it looked like he just got 2 clean dinks through the wooden boards there. Alexi B and NBK taking the damage at that point. So yeah, here comes the connector smoke from Brown Horse. Deploy that, 1 flash over, hope for the best, pretty much. Okay, that works.
But yeah, I mean, the Deagles seem to be doing most of the damage so far in this game. Issa's going to follow that up with one of his own. NBK, absolutely. This is the hand cannon's mission so far on train, because we just saw OG not get a single kill on their first gun round, and suddenly they have the advantage when they're on the pistols. It's all on to Hunden. We call him a god. We'll see if he is. He's got a Galil. He's got no chance inside of the smoke. Issa, his second in the round on a Deagle. 2-1, OG takes back the advantage.
They absolutely do. 2-1 Mad Lions now. They have to make the same decision. Do they want to invest fully like they did before, or take a bit of a partial approach and have a full buy going into the next round that would give up this one and leave them with a 3-1 deficit on their CT side? It looks like they'll take a pause and at least discuss their options here, work out what's going to be the most viable approach. Is their map pick, considering now that OG will have rifles once again and utility, might be better off just taking the eco here, getting the orbs out next round, and taking this one on the chin. But certainly worth the conversation. Didn't expect to offer the round up, especially against Deagles, no armor there. There's some great shots from Valdo, especially towards inside. Got a quick plant down, and the snowball turned into an avalanche very quickly indeed. So, what's going to be the play? Knowing that the pause has been called at this point allows OG to discuss what their opponent's options are as well. Work out the cash, whether they want to go for something quick here.
It seems an odd time to go for a pause because, quite frankly, you're in a position where I think most teams would save, but where you're kind of on the brink of a potential force. You might even be able to throw one at them by, if you call that pause, do they think, okay, they're actually going to go for it? What are they coming up with? So it is a mind game entirely.
So pushing towards Ivy, there's actually quite a bit of aggression, a good Molotov. They'll keep going through it. They get so much damage going with those planes. Might get them a couple of kills there, but...
so this is the problem. Valdo was still there. If they had caught those 2 players and isolated those 2 players, trades are still worth it because they get rifles out of it. So they definitely came up with that plan. It's not often you see a timeout call before going on to a pistol round. You usually want to have your guns at the ready. But yeah, Valdo, the fact that he has a Krieg of all things that far away, doesn't matter that they get those 2 kills. They're never recovering those rifles.
Yeah, just choose through them. No problem whatsoever. But a decent approach, I guess, nonetheless, from Mad Lions. 2 kills with just USPs. That's not too bad at all. Keeps them modest on this side of things, as we'll see the orb come out. This is what they wanted. They took the eco so they could get to this sort of position. AWPs out, all the rifles and utility they possibly need. Quick smoke towards the sandwich. Once again, NBK will be thrown there every single round as they get control of the brown halls here. The Molotov designed to send AWPers back. Fortunately for them, though, The all position towards Ivy. Aiko trying to get some information towards T-Spawn. Holds a bit of a passive line here. It's waits for the challenge. Very slow default here. They've got Brown Horse control, waiting for Ivy. Aiko needs to be very careful. He clicks his scope. He will be heard. For now, though, Hop Dog seems to be the main point of access. And one that won't be working out. Roy just finds the bomb. Alexi B drops, and I think Aiko might be a similar story here. That's fantastic work from him. The smoke as well in reserve, ready to rotate. This is looking very good. Mansu can only fire off a shot, but that retreat's coming in very short.
Aiko waiting with the smoke. This is a pretty ominous position for him
This
to
is
be
so
in.
sick. They're going to assume he's gone all the way back. That's the logical thing to do, but he's holding another defensive angle. That should yield another kill.
On an op as well? Yeah, absolutely. You'd expect him to try and play the length.
Yeah.
The smoke means they can get up close. He was watching whatever gap he had, but you're right. He holds that entire position of the map still. He is going to get a little bit of support from Hunden, but they ultimately don't need to do that. They've got a 5-on-2. They pretty much have the entire map. They'll even go check B for good measure. There was so much activity toward Ivy that they were pretty convinced it was going to end up outside. Shush heads that direction now, and it's already a save. 15 seconds left, no kills. You've got an AWP, you've got a Krieg, and you've still got Valda in a position where he could actually drop out a Galil and still get a bit of utility himself.
Yeah.
You might as well just hold on to what you can work with.
Galil's only $1,800 these days. They've had a bit of a discount.
Yep.
So the Orb save, the Krieg there as well. Solid round from Mad Lions, all down to Aiko, really applying that pressure towards Ivy. An Orb in that position is very powerful, especially with the smoke and reserve.
Interestingly, he dropped an AK for a teammate, so he's gone for the slightly more expensive choice, which means they're going to have one less weapon than they could have, but obviously I think they're going to go for utility on the other two and then try and let the rifles get the entries.
We'll see what can be done.
What's your opinion on that? Because right now they go with 3 rifles as opposed to you'd have 2 Galils. Obviously the Galil's a lesser weapon than the AK. I suppose what would you rather in that situation?
I guess on a map like Train, when you need the one taps in these opening picks, always going to be the AK-47. Galil is still a serviceable weapon, but when you need someone to really step up.
But 2 versus 1, even still?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it depends on the situation, what everyone's feeling. Some players don't even like the Galil, even though it's a good weapon objectively. They just don't feel comfortable with it still.
It does feel I don't know if it's the sound, the animation, the recoil. It does feel like the least threatening weapon. When it's in your hands, you feel the most worthless. Even a FAMAS to me feels better, even though it's probably not if you look at the kill totals with it lately. But I at least have confidence when I hold a FAMAS. I'm always going to take down NBK. Aggression from the CTs. NBK was not one of the 2 rifles as well as the AWP, but 2 rifles that were in the round looking for those angles. So,
well, I like this from OG though. They're boosting up, and it's going to be Valda who actually yields the first frag for them, but Roy answers back straight away. That's his second frag of the round, found the first towards Pop Dog, and now a decent grenade in as well, does no damage somehow again, and the flashbang will just keep him alive a little bit longer as the time ticks away. 40 seconds here, Valda down to just 19 points of health.
Mantu's trying to find an angle, he still can't. No one's really peeking or presenting anything aside from that initial push, which they've neutralized. Only a 1-man deficit. Problem is, that's exactly the angle Mantu wanted to clear. He's there too late, so they lose Alexi B as well. They really needed to find that for free. Certainly to keep the AK in the round as Hunden holds the bomb train. Easy position for him to collect on a very low HP player involved. Fair play to Mantu. Let's see if he can get a clutch because he hasn't had too many opportunities to go for those. We talked about him having a better game on Nuke. He's certainly had a chance to try and take down Hunden, but it will come to a 3-3 score. Mad Lions back in control at this point on the CT side.
Double Orb setup coming out as well. It's going to be Aiko and Bubsky by the looks of things here. So this is the most powerful setup you can have on the CT side of Train. See if this is where they come into their own now. It's going to be all tied up at 3-3 OG. Money not fantastic. Looks to be the Eco. They don't even have enough to really justify P250s at this point. 3 Glocks, a CZ and a Deagle. Valda spends a little bit more money with his teammates, but this is another chance to get the bomb down if possible. They've managed to win a couple of partial buy rounds, but this would be a full eco. So with the open position, should be the first frag for Aiko, no problem. Drops the incendiary. Bit of self-preservation there, making sure they can't jump on his position, have a sniper towards upper. And that's a nice opening pick. Confirms they're on an eco and just going to be biding some time now. When you've got no flashes, no smokes, no armor, your chances of doing anything with the round are limited. Like, you're just looking for any sort of opportunities. That's one when you know a reload's coming through. But to get a bomb down still, it's going to be a tall order. But there's a bit of space now. They might be able to do so.
Problem is, look where the bomb fell when it was taken down. If it had landed behind the train and had cover, you're absolutely right. Plant was possible, but Acor gets a shooting gallery at that point in time. No surprise they went toward B. That's where the fast plant potential exists.
Yeah.
I like that about train. I think there's a good balance. A is actually quite tricky to get to. You have a million angles you have to clear to get to the bomb train. Good smokes, okay, sure, you can rush a plant, but B, you can get in there quite comfortably in most situations.
Yeah, you just need to find one kill, and the bomb's pretty much going to go down. Might not be winning the round, but if you just need a cash injection from a partial buy, it's a very viable option. Still, speaking of money, Matt, look at their utility situation. Both one smoke at the 1 minute 45 mark. Sure, they've already deployed a couple already, but they're going to have to operate very quickly here, and they're doing that.
That's big, though, because the single AWP kill is going to shuffle the defense, and look how far Valda's gone in. He knew that they didn't have the utility. He knew that he had to take map instead, and MBK catches out Roy. That's fair play. They knew they didn't have utility. They played accordingly, and they're going to get a bomb plant down. It's a 5-on-1. Shush nowhere absolutely in a position to do anything about this round. He's already throwing guns back and keeping them away. Little does he know, pretty much everyone's got one on the other side. The AWP will certainly be valuable to hold on to. You don't really want a double up setup on a T side, though, on train.
No, it's not ideal. There's not many maps where it really works. I guess train would be one of the very few, but yeah, you're not going to be opting for it.
I suppose Dust too, but that's usually when you're going to drop it. Like, you'd have an extra AK at the ready.
Yes.
Like, you would use it, find a pick at mid, maybe when someone's going long, and then you go back. It's pretty situational.
Well, I feel like OG starting to come
Actually, well, no, I was going to say overpass to an extent, but even then you wouldn't want it for the whole round. You'd better hope you get the opening pick.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You're having a great game, everyone's hitting their shots, and it feels great. You've got like a 10-0 lead or something like that, and you found a secondary orb. You're saying, oh yeah, why not? Give it a go. All of the things are very desperate, I suppose. 4-4. Very, very good round there from OG. Faster pace, a couple of basic smokes out there. Valda with that killer instinct making his way all the way down towards Hell and catching the AWPers off on rotation. Up on the T side now for Mansu, who actually opened things up in the previous round. Needs to keep that up as a double AWP setup comes out once again here. Acor and Bubsky trying to shut down that fast pace once again. You can see Mansu setting himself up for any more potential Ivy aggression here, which won't be coming through.
Yeah, just a set smoke at this point in time to hold vision. Hundin the one behind it. Whoa, he almost got it. Following it up. Famas spray, caught him on the ladder, couldn't connect, and then nearly got the penetration through its, although it looks like wood from the bottom, it's a metal floor from above. I wonder if there's two actual contacts through that, because usually each layer takes damage out of the bullet. So they flash, smoke, and Molotov to clear A main. That gives Roy a bit more comfort in playing the pop dog position because he no longer has to worry about being flanked essentially by someone pushing out, so he can go back over there accordingly. Good nade, nice time. Again, I say good nade. You look at the minimap, the nade was just thrown from Acor directly into Ivy, landed right beside Issa, and like I think what 6 damage was done.
Yeah, nades
so
are a little bit
misleading in Counter-Strike.
Yeah, in 1.6 they had a bit more penetration. They could actually go for a wall, so it would do a little bit less damage. You've got something for it. CSGO, it is a bit problematic sometimes, but anything but for Shush. He's actually got a couple of frags potentially. Nice shot from Valda to bring them back in the round, but this is all a bit of a ruse. You can see he's got teammates towards the back tracks right now, so an inside split on the cards here. This is all down to Valda though. Makes his way towards Connector. He's stuck behind a smoke right now, and Bubsky checking that position.
Problem is that Acor got one. I don't think he spotted both going back tracks, so this flank is on. Mantu can absolutely catch them off right now. He does have an AWP. Okay, switches to the AK. That's smarter because now he's going to have people sitting directly in front. Bomb's not planted. That's his bigger problem. And now they're too far away. 6 seconds, he's got to save. That had so much potential, and yet the timing so far off. And I think he's even going to be spotted by Z. Yes, he absolutely is. Acor able to get the kill. Just to go back to the point on nades, I would rather have them underpowered than overpowered. Let me just put it that way.
Sure.
I came from a game where a nade was a one-hit kill, and that's not the most fun, especially when you could lob them over buildings across the whole map.
You can't really see them coming.
Well, you could literally, it wasn't even about getting kills with set nades and card.
Yeah.
You could deviate an entire strategy because they had to avoid like an entire alleyway. Like,
yeah,
it was
I know what you mean.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that as well.
You felt like an absolute god when you hit one of those nades, but really there wasn't much to it. You got the lineup, you threw it, done.
Yeah, you're just throwing it in blind faith. Here's the odds, though, ladies and gentlemen. You can see Mad Lion still the heavy favorites brought to you by GG.bet. 1.36 for them, heavy favorites. As we'll see Aiko once again holding towards brown halls. Now, normally this position would be Molotoved off in a default. You can see they've got a really cool smoke there at the very start. This they're kind of taking vision away from the T side, allowing him to get fully established. Oh, but a kill comes through. Working together.
That's tunnel vision if you've ever seen it.
Yeah. I think that's round. Like with that sniper there, the idea of that sniper towards the upper halls means you can have 4 players outside because it's such a prominent position. Now you're going to have to save at this point.
I think that smoke actually misled him. You were touching on it, and he was expecting them to be boosted above it or looking for a sort of a stack coming down the stairs, and he completely hyper-focused on that position. They walked out underneath. So I don't know. That's you got to consider that. I think being safe in that situation is better. Again, you are there as the anchor. You are there, like you said, to put the 4 outside. You want to get the pick, but you shouldn't commit to it to leave yourself vulnerable either, because this is the result.
Yeah, 1 kill. MBK knew it as well. You could see them putting everything into that inside side. If you killed an AWP towards the upper halls, you've got a good chance. You can actually get down before any rotations can come through. Both teams knew it, and that's why Mad Lions just had to give in, save the 4 players, and more importantly, the AWP and the AK-47 there. Their money's not great. That round just wasn't going to work out for them, but nice quick movement there from OG. That wasn't a panic play. That wasn't them overcommitting. That's just a very nice educated play in towards the inside area, knowing the AWP would probably be alone. So there we go, a clean round from OG, lots of money in the bank now. We'll take a tactical timeout as Mad Lions discuss what happened there. Just 1 pick sometimes. Players are going to hit good shots and react accordingly. Not much to it. Not many holes to plug, but might not be AWPing towards the upper area anytime soon.
We'll see what's brought out this time. You can see Peacemakers getting vocal. 5 rounds for OG T side. We talked about their T sides being problematic. That's a decent start. Won the pistol, lost the ensuing buy. It's not really a full gun round, but the next buy and the momentum for doing so, but then won the force buy immediately after. So they took the momentum back. You could argue that they got the start that they needed, but now they're actually getting a few gun rounds on the board as well. And it just needs to add up small amounts. That's all they need to look for on the T side.
Wow, 5 rounds. Not looking bad at all. A couple more would be ideal. There's the Molotov towards upper.
Shadow, yeah, he knows he's there. Volder can just spray at that. It doesn't do much in terms of damage, but it keeps him from peeking out, pushes him back a little bit further, and actually gives him a lot more access to the halls. Boy, he's been so aggressive. Oh, that's a problem. Got that smoke out fast enough. I thought he was going to take more damage than that.
Well, it does take him down at 68, but he holds strong in his position. 3 players towards upper again. We've seen this play before from OG. Worked out quite nicely. Could do it again here. The AWP connects, but no kill found. Takes him to 32 points of health. This might be another save scenario here. Maybe even more so at this point. 5 on 3. AWP surely going to fall back.
Yeah, it has to. Smokes in every lane. Desperate shot at the wall. Hope he clips on someone, but Volder's going to hunt this down. They want the guns, specifically that AWP, removed. He does run the risk of giving away a Krieg, just to note, but he's got I was going to say he's got a teammate pushing back toward the tracks. He's a little slow on the Ivy push. It's going to be Issa that wants to lock them in on the other side. He still might do so, mind you. 13 seconds. Acor, he's already got this position. Might do well to just hold. They're making so. This is a kill. It has to be a kill. Issa's got 1. Fair play. The op at least stays alive.
Yeah, but still in hot water here. You can see them being challenged from T-Spawn. The flash can be bounced off that roof there and actually have another peek, but you can dodge that pretty easily. He's just trying to stay alive at this point. Doesn't need any more kills. Needs to make sure the AWP is taken forward into that next round, which it is. But OG take the lead on their T side, which they have been struggling with historically since the team was formed. They've only been to a couple of events, but the T sides have always been noticeably difficult for them, but looking very good here on their opponent's map pick. We'll see Mad Lions now with the saved rifle and the AWP. Now, what's the call here? Do they want to fully invest into it? Apparently not. No tactical timeout taken. Enough to win a round with the 2 weapons here and USPs, but what have they got up their sleeve? A couple of HGs towards main at the start. Flash is deployed. And just looking for that first pick, Acor will get himself up on towards the red train there and fire off a speculative shot towards Fob Dog. This time nothing connecting. OG just feeding the map out, working out what they're up against. Just throw a 3-man stack there as Zeus by the lower ramp, 2 USPs above him, and that means the 2 main weapons are outside. That's a naughty angle, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty sick. It's a very tough angle. I think his head's spotted. He wasn't far enough back, so they would have seen just the top of his head. They're trying to find the angle, but he's got the shot. Issa is the one that pays the price, and Acor immediately turns his attention back to the front of the site, dancing inside a sandwich, nearly found a fourth. That was desperately close. It would have made the play almost perfect at that point. Highlight reel for sure. Unfortunately now he's gone down to man 2, which is the one that he would have killed. He's got a chance at a 1-on-2 clutch. Acor looking accurate, though. That was pretty impressive.
That was very impressive. The movement, especially, and the awareness really shone bright there. But still, Mansu definitely in position to win this one, but time is ticking away. 30 seconds now. Bomb is down towards main entrance and now taking damage as well. I know exactly where he is. He does hit the shot towards Roy, but needs to find kills quickly. Down he goes. It was very difficult to even get out of main entrance at that point. Had no utility. And it will be Acor. 3 kills. A lovely setup there. You couldn't ask for much more from Mad Lions at that point. The 3 pistols, they're stacked inside of a Zeus. They've got a nice little interesting novel play on that side of the map. Acor with pressure towards Ivy. Was even spotted as well. Flashed off. And they did everything correct, really, from the OG side. He just hits 3 really stunning shots there.
I love seeing ops that aren't necessarily aggressive, but guys like Fallen comes to mind, Overpass, where they get in a position like that where they have the ability to quick peek. Sandwich is amazing for an op like that. Again, it's a risk. You can get flashed out of there, Molotov'd out of there. If you lose any control of either Ivy or a main, you're in trouble, but that's art when you see it like that. It's so fast and precise.
Yeah, another player that's really showing how powerful this squad is. Like, names you might not necessarily be aware of in terms of their top end of the scene, but
I won't lie, these guys were not on my radar at all.
Absolutely, and rightly so, because they're a good team, but they haven't had many opportunities, they haven't had many invites. But with teams like Ents dropping off significantly, these guys are going to rising to the top. They're going to get more invites now. You're going to see them in more tournaments.
You do hope the consistency stays there, though, because we do get these flavors every now
and then.
You're right.
You are right. That's a good point. Like, when teams actually start to become aware of their power, that's when they start to anti-strat them and start to give them more attention.
I think other teams become aware of them, right? Because they wouldn't be on anyone's radar. Now they get anti-stratted, or people start considering their demos a little more.
Yeah.
Roy's going to get 2 again. Man2 falling already. No AWP left on the T side. Hunden pushes back out to find Valda. I don't know if he's fully aware of the fact that he still has a teammate to watch Ivy.
Yeah.
Okay, they did. He did get saved. That was what I was going to say, because Acor, if he wasn't there to save him, he was dead. His back was turned. So good awareness again from the AWP, and then Hunden does close the round. They'll take a lead by 1. 9-6 wouldn't be a bad thing for them to attain at this point. I think they'll be all right on their T side, but more importantly, OG is going to be better on the CT than they are right now. So,
yeah, this is actually not looking too bad at all. OG have got more than enough rounds. Everything else will be a bonus at this point. Money, I think, is the eco territory. Yeah, 2K on a couple of those players, but they are still going to buy here. The Krieg's coming out, so they're going to try and punish with these 2 weapons, and it's just 2 players fully investing. It's down to $1,100 there. We'll see what he can do as the M4 gets in position. Roy's had on hell of a showing towards his pop dog position in the last few rounds. Good grenade. Doesn't quite take MBK out of the equation, but it's good as 4 HP for him. And Bubsky patrolling inside. But once again, if he is left alone there, if Shush decides to go towards the outside area and have 4 players there again, they have the same potential for that to go horribly wrong.
Acor to take out MBK. Through the wall as well. He's got everything going for him right now.
Yeah, 15 kills. When you're in such a close game, he's been fantastic.
And you mentioned him. You mentioned him and Bubsky to be the 2 that lead the charge. I mean, I've been impressed. Roy has looked pretty consistent as well.
He has, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Bubsky's got a lot of hype around him, and certainly delivering in this tournament, showing he can keep up, and Acor as well. But unfortunately for him, maybe a bit of an overcommitment there. That's what I said. You've got a solo player towards inner. If it goes down in that sort of fashion, you're in a lot of trouble. That's the commitment once again from OG. They've seen their opportunity. They're pouncing on it.
Well, smoke's down. Issa's going to get very close to the entry point. This is certainly a promising position for him to be in with the bomb planted. Man advantage, 37 seconds. Again, the money isn't that established on the CT side, so this kill could define the round. He missed out on it. Roy, he's the one to come back through. Now they can actually attack. They know there's going to be a second man pushed up. There has to be to watch over to the right side, and it's Alexi B that goes down. How the tables have turned, how things have changed with 20 seconds left on the bomb. A Molotov as well. They won't be able to quick peek this, but it's a 10-second defuse. The one player that doesn't have the kit.
If they lose this now because of that,
They're not going to. They've got it. But you're right. Whoa, I wasn't sure Acor was going to repeat that. They had 2 with kits. It's not like they both weren't there. One of them was.
Yeah, you're right. It looked like that was going to fall apart there. The one player that doesn't have a kit, he's on the defuse there. It makes things a little bit problematic, but absolutely fine. They stick the landing, and it will be a successful round there. After what looked like another situation where they have 1 player towards inside. He goes down quickly. The bomb's planted, and it wasn't possible to retake. But absolutely fine in the end. OG going to the final round here with Galil's, MAC-10s, AK-47s. I would suggest a bit faster pace as well, considering the lay of the land right now. It looks like they will be committing towards outside. It was Valdo who managed to step up before in this sort of play. Can they deliver once again? They're fully committed to this.
Pushed around. Shots in. That MAC-10 again. It cannot connect. It cannot find the kill, but again, he's got two. Rui again has matched that, and consistency is certainly there. The advantage to Mad Lions on the back of that, because Shish found Mantu immediately after. Issa's on the train. AK couldn't find the headshot. So much damage. But 9-6, they actually achieve it with 3 in a row at the end of the half, and that puts them in an excellent position.
Wow. What a half that was. I'm impressed by OG. They've certainly been working on their train. You can see there's not so much in terms of big set pieces or massive flakes coming in, but they have got a nice arsenal of strategies and ideas. They know where their strengths lie.
Yeah, I think you identified it a few times. It was the mid-round calls. The identification of,
exactly.
Okay, the Opper's down here and they're not going to have anyone else in the B site. Or we've got a smoke here. Let's push it more aggressively. We don't have utility. Let's take outside. Valda getting up towards Sandwich.
It's a
there was a
loose
few
gameplay,
instances. Yeah, but they're using their skill, but they're not doing it blindly.
Sure.
They have an idea of why they're doing it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Look how technical this is from Mad Lions. This is the pistol round. They've got themselves 2 smokes, 2 Molotovs, flashbangs, and they're sending a player out already. That's going to be Roy. It's all a ruse, though. His teammates are going towards inner, and it's Valda to defend, but he's on the retreat right now. He has to try and catch one on the cross. It's still a very difficult shot here. 2 players making their way towards connector. He's gone for that plant. No way, it's worked out.
Spinning is the answer. We saw it in the group stage as
Yeah.
well.
That's unreal.
It's ridiculous that this continues to work in this fashion, but absolutely gets the bomb planted. That's a problem, and it's bigger. Problem is the other way, though, because Hunded's gone. They actually retake with ease. Mantu comes back through, and I was just about to say that OG need this pistol to make a contest of it, and they're going to get both in this game to now make it 9-7.
Yeah, both pistols in their favor. The bomb does get planted somehow. The spin hit the DPI button and just go for it, I suppose. It looks very odd, but somehow seems to deny headshots. So I would assume a buy is coming in here. We'll take a look. Gives you an extra $800 per player. So you can either drop a couple of AKs and Kriegs or go for Galils across the board. We'll see what they've got in mind. Going to take just the Deagles here, going for a very healthy buy going forward here. For a team of their sort of play style, it makes a lot of sense. They're not trying to steal rounds away. They're trying to use their strategy and team composition to win rounds here. So just going to try and cause some financial damage here to the CTs if possible. Up against a plethora of MP9s and FAMASs.
Oh, no.
Doesn't quite connect.
You love to see it, but you hate
Yeah.
to see it miss. Yeah, no chance for the Zeus kill, which usually leads to a gun pickup because of the proximity, but now it is a 5-on-3. MBK still holding his ground. He'll find 2. Issa gets Roy in the meantime, and we're now within 1 point for OG. So I will mention now, I suppose, a good time, because it is a possibility. Overpass is map number 3.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's another map I've seen OG play a few times. It seems the one they're quite comfortable on in general. I haven't seen Mad Lions play that map, but let's see if we get there after this one. Train pretty much neck and neck at this point with OG picking up a couple of rounds here in the second half. This is where it all gets very exciting though. The full gun round for the Mad Lions. They're going to have their Kriegs, their AK-47s, and everything they need in terms of utility. But this is what I expected to see when you've got the MP9s. You need a bit of an advantage to kick things off. Significant damage inflicted there, but not enough to get the kill. MP9 goes down a 5-on-4, but still 2 players on this side of the map. MBK waits towards the shelf position at the lower ramp. He still has Man 2 with him as well. Flashbang and effective towards Issa. And we get to 1 minute 25 mark. This is perfect though. He's waiting for the reactive play now from the CTs. You've managed to fall back, keep everyone alive. MBK inquisitive and gets a ton of information here. No one towards Pop Dog, and he's going towards T-Spawn. Will they be aware of this potential? I don't think they will. This is very well done.
So with the smoke, no, thinks better of it. He can hear the flashes. He knows they're going to be there. He knows they want the ground, and he gets the shots instead. Bomb, speaking of which, has landed on the ground, but it's recovered very quickly by Hunden. He's bleeding out at this point in time, but he's got to be very careful, and he is indeed to creep up behind Alexi B. But speaking of creeping up behind, it's MBK on the flank. It's OG with the 9th.
They lost the first pick, but that is a massive, massive round for OG to find. MBK gets the last couple of kills there. We said it was a good and promising push. It does find a couple of kills there, and that's the first gun round falling in their favor on the CT side here. Great stuff so far. Both pistols under their belt. Should be an eco here for the Mad Lions. They can bring out some deagles and some armor here, a bit of a partial buy. As they get themselves 3 grenades, they'll be used towards the bomb train at the start of the round usually. It does a load of damage if you can get them in the correct position, but both teams have a similar mentality. It will be OG coming out on top. They inflict a lot more damage there, and it will be Mad Lions falling back. 9-9, and looks like this round, it's coming to its logical conclusion. Not much invested by the Mad Lions. If they get a plant now, I'll be impressed. Inside they go, through the smoke, hoping just to get 1 kill if possible.
Headshot, not quite. Doesn't matter. Volda has the Krieg and Trish is down. Yeah, the OG. Good control of the first 4 rounds so far. Very effective. Not a lot of bomb plants. There was one obviously in the pistol. We saw that, but none since then. So it's not like they got the extra cash injection. They will still have money at this point in time, and they'll have utility to go along with it. A-Core AWP, so he'll be just limited to 1 smoke and nothing more, but they've got 5 smokes total, which is certainly beneficial. There's lots you can do with smokes on train. Ivy. Yard takes 3 to cover off on its own. Obviously a B, you can cover up the bottom of the ramp. Flash through. Will take away vision from Roy, but he knew where he was and he knew the plan. Rush down, try and beat them to the punch. He absolutely does. Volda misses on the Krieg.
Similar situation we saw in the first half here. He's got an early pick. Oh my goodness, Alexi B. Throws caution to the wind, flies up the pop dog there. Doesn't work out for him. That's a save now. Can't really go for this one. You see the CT scampering back towards Ivy. Valda unable to find a quick kill. The Krieg is a great weapon, but once you commit to the spray, can get a little bit wild at times, especially when you're scoped in. So we'll see that first pick come through. Roy, once again, great play from him. Hunden to bring up the rear of the AK, catches the player, Alexi B, flying up towards that pop dog position. OG to save their weapons now. Money's still strong for them. You can't really justify the manhunt at this point of the Mad Lions. They don't really have the established economy. And we'll see what happens here. MBK to hold on to the M4 of his teammates. Looks like Mad Lions are going to post their first round. Bomb goes off. Very clean one of that. All 5 players survive. And they're off. Their T-side campaign now
Begins
right here, right now. Money's there. All the tools in their arsenal. Tied up at 10-10. I think Counter-Strike is kind of, we're kind of falling away from CT-sided maps. Sure, then you still prefer CT-side, but it's not as compelling as once was.
I've had this debate in my mind because I think that's by design. I think Valve have gone through great strides and efforts to make sure that the maps are more even. And certainly from a matchmaking and a public standpoint, that's probably better, right? If you're constantly joining in and just by luck, you're always on the T side and you're a newer player, you're not willing to suffer those 12-3 losses. You're just going to write the game off. Teams are going to get toxic toward each other. So from that sense, I can understand why it's important to have it equal. But at a competitive level, I do think some of the narrative in those 12-3 halves and some of those maps were the comebacks and the decision-making when you're the team that's not in the lead and you have to start on the harder side first. And I do question if that's missing, and maybe some maps could benefit from being more that way.
In today's game, unfortunately, it feels like you can make mistakes or not make the best play, and you'll still get away with it by virtue of the Krieg because it's such a powerful weapon. You can actually challenge AWPers, and it could be, like, on paper, a bad play. Objectively, that wasn't the correct thing to do, but the individual skill's so high now that if you're given the added benefit of the Krieg scope, like, it makes the game a little bit questionable at times in terms of tactical decisions, but I tend to agree. And we'll see now whether this is where Mad Lions can take the lead once again. They're going to find themselves with the AWP in the hands of A-Corp. Great game for him so far. Bubsky with the preemptive spray towards Pop Dog to see if anyone will be falling back. No real damage inflicted just yet. And an inside play looks likely. 4 players starting to transition over. Lining up smokes. Very defensive hold here from the CT. You can see the AWP towards upper ramp. Bowder again towards inside, has an AK this time. No utility for him though. Manto's a couple of flashes, so if an inside commitment comes through, it's going to be difficult to fend them off with no incendiary.
It's a very passive hold. Completely unaware of the fact that, Issa rather, has actually gone in behind that smoke. He's going to use it to his own advantage and hold Roy out, but Roy's not going to give that up either. There's no point in walking away from that. You need to make sure you have some positional control, so a deep smoke and a flash, that'll be enough to force the CTs to reconsider and put some attention toward Ivy. So he wants to try and keep the CTs at A as long as possible. The problem being is that A-Core's already gone down. Mantu's got great stance. Not not aware that they pushed up the ramp, but he called for the rotation that there's a possibility a player could be close to Zed, and that's where MBK comes back in because he immediately gets the entrance. I know it seems weird to say on the CT side, and now they're able to slide up and take away the bomb. Roy was the lurk, he's nowhere near. He's going to maybe get 1 or 2 on the flank, but the defuse should come through immediately.
He can Molotov the bomb, but that's about
you're
it.
right, he does have a Molotov.
But there's not enough time now. The bomb's defused. That's done. There's no cause any sort of... Oh, that's not gone well. He could have caused a bit of damage. Have a couple of kills coming from the back, but a little bit too late. His teammates unable to cause any real damage upon entry there. Valda and Mansu especially, good positioning, managing to stay alive, cause damage, slow them down, and with a lack of utility as well, that was an impressive round for themselves. So not going to take the lead. It will be OG answering back pretty quickly as we'll get into the next round here. We'll have a look at the overall buy for Mad Lions. The AK starting to come through. Kriegs as well. Money's still strong in that regard. $11,000 for MBK, just to know that. So he'll be fine for a few. Only 1 round picked up for Mad Lions so far. And a big nade to kick things off. Bubsky down to 51.
Mansu drops off train, manages to actually catch out Roy, who is very aggressive. Acor will get Issa. That was the next play in that. If they can get one deep on the aggro, the other one would slide in to try and take back A-main, but Alexi B makes up for the deficit by finding Bubsky. Man advantage again for OG. So far, an excellent CT campaign. Perhaps we shouldn't be surprised by that. They've got 5 from 6 rounds.
Well, bomb planted, a chance here now, but they need to be a bit more aggressive, and Akor's done. He's going to die here.
Okay, great prediction. Well done, Henry. Keep up the good work.
Damn, okay. He somehow reads that one, but he'll have to do a lot more than that to save this. It's in a 3 versus 1, no utility. He knows he needs a challenge. Has to be a bit more active than usual. Molotov starting to fly through, and that will be his round done.
Solid from Mansu.
Yeah.
I'm seeing why now this is the man they elected to go with. OG's looking pretty solid on these B retakes as well, so I can totally understand what you mean by needing to be more aggressive, but man, oh man, I don't know how you beat this. You keep getting the bomb plant, so you're tempted to keep going to the site, but they're doing nothing to keep the rotations out of it.
Yeah, the kills aren't just coming in at all now. Money's still decent for them with these bomb plants and a couple of rounds here or there, but still starting to drop off now. These executions, these plays towards inside aren't really doing a whole lot for them. They're losing too many players upon arrival. The flanks are catching them out. And we'll see now what the next approach is. This will be the last of their cash. AKs, Krieg still with the AWP here. 12-10. Maybe getting a little bit more aggressive here. Valda waits for the incendiary. He'll hear the footsteps. Want to deploy that quickly here. Down it goes. And Bubsky, oh, he has to go through now. His teammate's committed, so he has to as well. But that's a nice opening kill. Instead of waiting for their opportunities, they're just going to take it from them. CTs will try and get through the smoke here. This is a very important kill. Shush will fend them off, though. And that could be the round again. If you get that quick plant, 5 on 4, CTs just won't fancy it. I think it's done. Fortunately, not the most exciting rounds when this happens,
no. But Mad Lions actually really needed that. You were saying that money not really built up. They get a fast plant out of this. They're going to keep all, well, I say they're going to. It's not guaranteed yet. At this point, they have 5 people alive. Shush is still reasonably close to a few of them, so we'll give that opportunity.
I like that, though. Just you see the Molotov go down. Bubsky didn't really want to commit to that. His teammate just goes flying through. I guess, well, I guess I'm coming
back.
Guess we're doing it. And it works out. Like, as long as he gets that first pick, it's all fine. If that first play goes down, though, everyone's going to get dropped.
See, that's where in matchmaking, if my teammate does that, like yells out the Leroy and pushes, I'm like, cool, dude, see ya. See you next round.
That was a good try, I guess. Yeah, you're right. That's one of those things where, like, it's just gut feeling. You can't practice for that, like those sort of scenarios. It's just like trusting in your teammates. You see one of them go through, you're going to have to go with
them. And that is being a good teammate.
Yeah, even if you don't believe in it, like if someone's committed, you just have to. Otherwise, the round is going to be done. And we'll see what happens going forward. That's the second round now for Mad Lions. But like we said, there's so much money available for OG, and they keep saving weapons as well. They should be fine for at least 3 or 4 rounds, to be honest with you, as we'll see Mansu change positioning up. He's got that killer instinct. He said he lacked it before in the last few days of the tournament, but that's him at least going for that initial pick. Didn't work out for him. Roy, 2 big frags there. Still recoverable the round, considering they haven't got the bomb down yet, but it's going to take something marvelous from the CT defense remaining.
Alexi has just watched the Flames, couldn't quite catch the retreating defensive player. Zakor pushed through the double op T side, still in their hands. 2 rifles, though. That's more than Alexi has. He's got to back away at this point in time. It looks like back-to-back rounds and a 12th in total for Mad Lions. Not giving OG an inch. This is for elimination. The last time we saw them, they were not victorious. So interestingly enough, they'll play 3 best-of-3s. They'll have made the playoffs going 1-1 because that's how this tournament works. But they're going to go 1-2 in the event if they don't win this map as well as Overpass. And it's no free pass today. You don't go any further.
The 1 best-of-3 they did win, if that all comes to fruition, was ENCE, right? And there's such a asterisk by the ENCE name right now. Like, it's difficult to really say, wow, at least we had one decent result against a top 10 team. It just doesn't really count for too much considering what they're putting down right now. Either way, still can bring this map back and take it to Overpass. They've still got plenty of cash. Remember, MBK now at $13,000. Mantu not far behind, so they can go for a double AWP setup. They want to mix things up a little bit here. But they're fine. They've lost a couple of rounds, and it hasn't been down to amazing tactical prowess of Mad Lions. It's been they've had to really just knuckle down and go for some quick plays and see if their individuals can step up because their strategies weren't working for them.
Yeah.
We'll see whether they want to keep that pace up. They bring the AWP out once again for Acor. Hasn't done too much on the T side.
Hasn't had too many chances, to be fair. They did have, again, I mentioned it, they had the double up at the end of the last round, but yeah, Acor's going to go back onto it. Roy's continuously playing over toward Ivy. That's his role, that's his obligation. A little bit of a challenge this time, as a Molotov clearly came deeper than they have in every other round, so he was almost caught off by that, but not past the point of coverage, so he holds up for a minute. But he's been playing this lurk again, and they're going to go for the 4-1. And the last time they did this, he was late. Remember, they actually got the kill. The op shot from Mantu actually shut down Acor. And then MBK was able to rotate. This time they're early as well. Roy's got to go now. Acor's got the opener this time. That's the difference, and it's going to leave Vald in a very tough position. They may not need Roy, and he might get a free pass. He's got to go, though. If he's going to play these lurk positions. Okay, you know what? This time he's actually read this super well.
Yeah, they want to come
They're going to save.
Yeah, they'll come in this position, but you can see that MBK, he's aware of that. He makes sure he covers every single angle of that spot. And Roy, sure, he won't get any kills, but the round is done once again. Another save for OG. Remember, though, they keep saving. The money's going to be okay.
I suppose there is 2 ways to play that lurk. One is to keep the CTs busy on A to give your B players space, or the other is to let the B players give you space so you flank on the retake.
It was Pasha and VP in their glory days who really defined that as a play. Like, he could do one or the other. He could be the one with an AWP at the start of the round, go for a pick, keep pushing, and just continue to have focus on the outside. Or he comes with a very late lurk towards backtracks and just shuts down the defuse attempts. There's 2 options there, but the latter really working out. As we'll see the CTs saving 3 weapons, and once again, it will be Mad Lions taking another round. 3 in a row now, 13-12. OG will have another pretty healthy buy overall, but now having to drop weapons, that will be drained quickly.
The interesting thing is as well, if he stays passive, let's say 4 times, and he's waiting to go for that later play, he's not putting that much pressure on A, it wouldn't take much to convince the CTs then, because if he does get aggressive and you put 1 more player at A main, that's 1 extra, because if it's just him every time, they're going to go, okay, now he's trying to flirt with us, whatever. But if you put a second player, then they're going to go, oh, hang on, there's more going on. And you can actually sell a fake more convincingly sometimes by doing that.
What's interesting as well, the fact that inside has been so prominent in this particular map. We've just seen both teams just really try and punish this area. It seems like it's, even with 2 players there, they really couldn't put up any sort of resistance.
I do think B's more of a skill battle to me because there isn't as much tactics required to get bomb plants. You need more smokes, you need more timings to work Ivy with A main. There's a bit more going on, and as we said, less so with Mad Lions, but with OG certainly there's not, the tactics haven't really shown themselves yet. So I can kind of see the brawl at B being more appropriate.
Let's see what happens here. Now that's a nice smoke to get towards Connector, I believe, towards the inside area. So if you get that down, it means you can go towards inside super quick, and it's going to take vision away from the AWPer. And this could be a bit of a face. He's 1 player that's been barreling in towards inside with that smoke at Connector. Luckily, Mantu hits the shot, but here's the commitment now towards outside. It's a nice fake. This is where the tactics really start to show their own and their worth. And there it is, Roy. Another great opening pick for him. It's a 4 versus 3. Orbs towards inner, and they're going to boost him in Connector right now. Oh, he's just fumbling it twice, though. That's cost him maybe a kill. Yeah,
considering Hunden's HP and the fact that he's the planter, that would have kept the bomb from going down. That's a huge play for Mad Lions.
3 on 3. Hunden low. Flashbangs available. A Molotov as well. No smoke on the CD side, which is big for a defuse. Next kill might decide the round here. Hunden is trying to patrol towards Ivy. 20 seconds left.
It's a good off angle to hold. Valda's back there and will naturally want to get forward. They're trying to bait out a defuse so they can get a reaction. He doesn't need to react. Low HP still manages it. Bubsky actually gets the kill, supports him. He's going to give away his position more and more time off the bomb. They know someone's already tapped it. Alexi has to be nearby. I'm surprised they didn't read that sooner, but either way, there's enough time. You're right. Cannot defuse, and it's Mad Lions 14-12. There's money enough on the OG side to buy into this round.
They haven't a Zuiko like once. It's insane.
Yeah.
They keep saving over and over again. But this is the problem now. If they lose this round, that's when the money goes. And this is not the best of buys. This will be like rifles and basic utility. But Roy getting it done once again. Look at his movement and awareness. Great shot towards MBK at Ivy, just as the smoke bloomed as well. 14 to 12. OG find themselves in a very tricky position. This will be the final buy. Smokes are there, the incendiaries are not. Shush helps himself towards main entrance. And it will be man to another great opening pick here. And it's been converted. Wow! Shush actually had the chance to get 2 kills there. It will still come through in the end. A 3-on-3 with MBK at 19 points of health. They're going to try and find him, which they do. I think both players are on the inside area now. So you've got Alexi B. Is he in Pop Dog? He must be, yes, indeed. Oh, he's in a lot of trouble here. Smoke comes down and actually fumbles it, so a bit of wiggle room, I suppose. I think Valda does enough here. Yeah, 2 kills in the cards. Oh, great shot.
That is a clutch shot. AWP holding a tight angle. Valda, of all people, to try and hold off of the site as well. Bomb is planted. That was the key. They get the bomb down for this, and Alexi B.
No kill.
Oh, no, not even no kid. He's already spotted. Roy's ahead of him by a margin of steps. The damage is significant. Acor covers him off, and he backs away. Great play. Doesn't need to continue to take that fight, Roy. Just lets him do damage to himself at that point, ultimately, by timing.
That's a good point. Well, that's going to be it. Series point. And I think for the first time, the money's broken as well for OG. That really couldn't have gone any worse in that regard as we get into what could be the final round here of our first quarterfinal. Mad Lions enter this tournament. Sure, we all knew they're a pretty decent team. They've taken some scalps, some lesser tournaments online, but they've really proven themselves to be a very good, tactically sound team with some great young stars within them as well. And the main thing Hunden made about this team is like he finally has an organization now where he's not going to lose these players to poachers coming through, which has been a massive problem with CSGO. You build a kind of lesser team with young stars and then big auctions come around and throw enough money to actually buy them out of their contracts. But it seems like Mad Lions, they'll be around to actually hold on to this squad and see what they can do and how they can develop, as they have put in the hard work, let me tell you.
Acor has been amazing, in my opinion, so far on this T side with the op. Again, you said he was slow to get going, but the last few rounds he's looked great. Think back to the CT side, was very solid towards Sandwich. It's a big kill.
For masses over the M4s, favoring the utility. And that's that connector smoke once again from Acor. So this could be the inside play. But they had a fake variation of this before, so they could have fully committed it this time. Valda has had a rough time towards the inner bomb site. So much pressure, but good utility usage here. The Incendiary and HE, I think that's one player definitely dead. Surely doesn't stand a chance.
Ah, that noise, the drop down. I mean, they were almost going to hear it, but very specific. Somehow he still finds the headshot. Valda could not get his attention to it fast enough. And there was 2 players there, but one's preoccupied. That was Alexi B, and he's confused at that point because Roy's already got the shot as well. Where does he look? There's nowhere to go. It's a 5-on-1, and this series is over. OG with all the hype, beating Ents on day 1 in what is going to be rivalry, naturally, just based on the Alexi B story.
Yep.
Everything looked good, and then it's just not been ever since. 16 to 12, Mad Lions on the other side of that. I am impressed with. This is, again, I did not have them on my radar. They're now going to a semifinal.
Yeah, they have the potential to win this tournament. Like they're playing a very solid game of Counter-Strike. They've got a solid game plan, and they had to face adversity there as well. That wasn't a smooth run. They lost both pistols. Yep. They actually had a really difficult second half as well. And it took their stars to really step up there. You saw the tactics not working out for them, but they had a plan B. As soon as things started going catastrophically wrong, the inside pushes through Incendiaries. Just trying to force the issue, get themselves some movement, and that actually worked out very nicely towards the end. What a great finish. 5 rounds in a row. Super solid. And again, you pointed out Bubsky and Acor. Yeah. Acor, I think, came through in the AWP. Would have liked to have seen a little more from Bubsky, but I got to give a shout out to Roy. He was just an he was like, I wouldn't say a quarterback, but what's a good term for it? He was the anchor in a lot of ways. Absolutely. He held his nerve. He held the line on defensively. Lots of multi-kills. He always seemed to be very good on rotations. That was a good team player game from him, if you will. Yeah, he's a player we haven't discussed too much, but made a name for himself there. OG are out of the tournament now, unfortunately, the quarterfinal. They made it to the playoffs. That's something, I suppose, but as you mentioned, that means they're 2-1 now, losing to I think it was Mouse Sports and now Mad Lions. They only beat Ents. It was Na'Vi. Yes, Na'Vi. And I thought they actually, again, with the star power they have, Na'Vi sometimes kind of, and a new player sometimes can get caught off. Yes, I thought they had a chance there and they didn't. So I think we're starting to get a pecking order again. Early in the year, we're kind of waiting to see where some of these teams are going to line up. And that's what we've got coming up next, because another team we want to see more from certainly is Virtus.pro. We need to see recovery from them, but we want to see more
from their opponent in Godsent, because they looked excellent 2 days ago to get to this quarterfinal. We're going to take a break. We'll join the panel to discuss this game as well as that one in just a minute.